YouTube. So today we're going to go over a short video from a YouTube channel that I would consider in the realm of e-celeb, an e-celebrity, which is basically a character on YouTube that seemingly has gained a lot of notoriety over the last few years, basically via online on YouTube. There are a lot of people like this. It's a very interesting concept and phenomenon, in my opinion, just because there are so many people that seemingly come out of nowhere. I would argue some of these people are probably propped up by YouTube, propped up by the algorithms and the they that controls what is approved, what narratives are approved to talk about, what narratives are not approved. I'm not necessarily saying this YouTube channel and this person, they're not grassroots. I'm not saying that. They could be. I don't know. But there is a phenomenon of YouTube channels popping up like this from seemingly nowhere. So I will say that this YouTube channel does discuss some things that are pretty interesting. I'm going to be very critical of this short video that we're going to review, just because I think it's important for any young man that comes across this video to hear actual, good advice around dating and things like that. But this YouTube channel does talk about some interesting things. So I'm neither, telling you to pay attention to this YouTube channel. I'm also not, disowning or disavowing this YouTube channel. I haven't seen everything that this person has done, but I have come across them from being on various podcasts and things like that. This is the Whatif Alt Hist YouTube channel run by Rudyard Lynch. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He has close to 700,000 YouTube subscribers, and his shtick was basically, discussing alt history situations. So pretty large YouTube channel. But again, discussing some talking points at this point, going around various podcasts and interviews and things like that, whereby some of the stuff he's talking about, again, it's interesting for a normie or mainstream, but a lot of these talking points, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are talking points that are almost a decade old at this point. They were cutting edge and, edgy in 2015, 2016. But I mean, there have been plenty of YouTube channels that have been kicked off of YouTube over the last decade for talking about some of the stuff that this individual discusses. That is neither here nor there. Today, we're going to discuss this short video that he recently put out around dating advice. And I would assume this individual, obviously he's younger, early 20s, I would assume. So I would be highly surprised if a large portion of his following was at younger men. And so that's who I'm trying to address. Any young man that comes across this video, do not listen to people like this as it relates to dating advice. We're going to go over this short video, but again, I'm not saying there are certain things that he doesn't talk about that aren't interesting in his other videos, and he's not worth a listen as it relates to podcasts and things like that. But when it comes to dating advice, young men of YouTube, if you come across this video, do not listen to people like this. So we're going to listen to this short video, and I'm going to get into why you shouldn't listen to someone like this as it relates to women, dating advice, things like that. So this is not a long video. This shouldn't be too long, but we will go ahead and get started.
Continue with the theme of lessons I wish I knew as a teenager that I had to learn the hard way. The man I know who has done the best with women gave me this advice. And most of my audience is men, and so it's this, that women prefer extreme emotions to good or bad emotions. And if you read the books...
Okay. So I'm not going to let it play all the way through, but immediately there's a bunch of red flags being thrown up immediately as it relates to individuals like this. And let me also preface, I'm not trying to just pick on this guy or, again, I'm not trying to disavow young men from listening to him, but you need to be mindful and have good discernment on who you listen to when it comes to various topics. And this is not a topic you need to listen to Rudyard Lynch on when it comes to dating advice. The first red flag is don't listen to someone about women who they themselves are not good with women. I mean, immediately, the fact that he's giving you advice from someone else as it relates to women tells you that he himself is probably not great with women. Additionally, I mean, just looking at this individual's demeanor, how he carries himself, how he talks, this individual clearly, you know, is probably more than likely in the friend zone if he knows any females. That'd be the title of this video is, has the friend zone in it. This individual screams friend zone if he does know, some fairly attractive females. He also, he has the demeanor of what a lot of females would consider a nerd. I mean, just how he talks, how he carries himself, his mannerisms. He comes off as a nerd, a know-it-all nerd. And watching some of his videos, he can be very long-winded and just kind of one of the guys that if you're in a conversation with him or in a group with him and you say something that is incorrect, he will be one of the first people. Well, actually, the statistic is 5.2%. I mean, stuff like that is very unattractive to women. Very unattractive to women. So, multiple red flags at the onset, and I'll continue the video.
Women write about romance, this is true, where the love interest often is not a good guy or he does bad stuff, but they prioritize feeling an extreme emotion whether or not it's good or bad.
So, again, some more red flags. First and foremost, when have you ever heard of any guy who is what you would consider an alpha male or someone who is good with women? When have you ever heard them discussing how much, you know, female books that they read, female romance novels written by females for females? No man that I have ever known that has had success with women and success with dating and girlfriends and things like that reads that stuff. And there's multiple reasons why. First and foremost, he's making the point that, pay attention to what women write in the romance novels. That right there, again, tells me that this individual himself does not know women very well. You pay very little attention to what women say, period. That doesn't mean you don't trust women. That doesn't mean you can't, discern what they're saying. But you pay very little attention to what women say in a lot of cases, even if they're telling you what they want or what they don't want, because women are very manipulative. I mean, there's a whole psychological, definition when it comes to the behavior within dating and dating patterns and things around hypergamy. The fact that women will date lower status men as far as, from an physical attraction standpoint and things like that to boost some type of status in their life, whether that be social status, money, there's the concept of gold diggers, all this kind of stuff. That's not to say that women always lie. That's not to say that every woman is overly manipulative. But in general, women tend to be way more manipulative than men. You pay less attention to what they say and what they actually do. Women, just to give you other examples, women will say things so they will lie so that they don't hurt other people's feelings. If how does this dress look on me? Oh, you look so great. You look good. Even if they think that the dress is hideous, they don't want to hurt their friend's feelings, even though they think the dress is awful or the haircut is awful. Sometimes women will even, they'll give bad advice to make themselves look good. Oh, Sally, should I cut my hair short? Should I cut my beautiful long hair that has, body and looks really good? Should I cut my hair short? And sometimes her friends may tell her yes, knowing that her short haircut is going to make them look better. I mean, look at the concept of a lot of the pretty girls having a friend who isn't as attractive as the rest of the group. That friend makes the rest of the group look better and feel better about themselves. Women are extremely manipulative. And the topic that he's talking about, as far as, women really look for extreme emotions. No, that's a feminine trait. That's what women do. That's effeminate. Men who do not have control of their emotions, to be calm in tough situations, to be protective in a tough situation, to be the strong man holding his ground and maintaining his principles and being a protector and things like that. That's not someone who just gives in to extreme emotion. That doesn't mean that you can't have extreme emotion, but women talking about the strong silent type. This is the complete opposite of that. Men exuding extreme emotion, really happy, really sad, wearing your emotion on your sleeve, that is an effeminate thing to do. Women are not in general attracted to that. This is terrible advice. It's terrible advice. We'll continue.
And so what he said is, when you're trying to seduce a woman, make her feel any emotion, and that's better than nothing.
Extremely vague comment. Whether he's using what he just said in a colloquial sense or something like that, making women feel any emotion is better than not feeling an emotion. You be creeping them out, making a woman feel creeped out because you're being overly emotional. No, you're going to scare them off. Making a woman angry because you're not discerning what she actually wants, not necessarily based on what she says, but discerning, patterns and things that she likes, and being able to read her mind. Women love men who can read their mind without them even telling you something, even though men in general aren't great at that. This is not good advice at all. Young men of YouTube, do not listen to people like this as it relates to women. We'll continue.
Because if you look at these sorts of at the things women say, the men they hate the most are the boring guys, the guys who lack character, and they often love the vampire or the werewolf because he's such an extreme figure. Continue with the.
So that's the short video. Again, I think I've made my point in various ways that you don't, in general, listen to an individual who has not been successful with the opposite sex to get advice on how to be successful with the opposite sex. This is not good advice. No alpha male or anyone who's good with women reads female romance novels and things like that. They don't need how-to videos. In general rules of thumb, women like masculine men, strong men who can be funny but aren't a class clown. Class clowns really aren't overly attractive to women. They're kind of annoying. They kind of annoy everybody. But a witty man who demonstrates intelligence but can also be laid back and roll with the punches, but knows when to stand firm and stand strong and be a protector and things like that. In general, women are very attracted to men like that. They're attracted to masculinity. Masculinity is not being an overly emotional male. Masculinity is not reading female romance novels. It's reading World War II books. Any normal woman would probably think you're a little weird if you were reading female romance novels as opposed to reading World War II or the biography of a president or something like that. That would be more natural to a female. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, I'm not trying to disavow or come down too hard on Rudyard, but clearly someone who he himself does not know many women, or has really not taken the time to get to know women, or has really not had a lot of success with women. So this is not good dating advice. This is bad dating advice. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was interesting, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.